Welcome to the You Are a Force podcast channel, your go-to space for real stories, fearless dreams, and unstoppable women rewriting the rules. And the force behind this podcast. Here is your host, Binoli Bodadara.
Hi everyone, welcome to You Are a Force, the podcast where we celebrate women who just don't inherit seat at the table, but they actually rebuild the entire empire from the ground up. I'm your host Binoli Botadra, and today I have someone very special. This guest is a masterclass in disruptive leadership. At just the age of 22, she stepped into a family business, but instead of following a manual, she made her mark in Indian FMCG. And how? The cultural phenomenon of fruity to the sparkling revolution of Appy Fizz. Now, a dairy disruptor also with Smooth, and she has scaled Parle Ergo into a powerhouse that reaches to 2 million outlets in India and exports to 50 countries and more. A perennial fixture of Fortune 500, Fortune India's most powerful women's list, visionary voice of Forbes India. But these trophies don't really tell half of her story. What truly sets her apart is her unfiltered approach to the leadership, her razor sharp strategic lens, and also an obsession with finding solutions. Honestly, I have grown up on Fruity, so it is my absolute pleasure to sit across a genius who has actually made this legendary. So, a fangirling moment completely right now because of the love for Fruity. So, I cannot wait to dive into the world. So, without a further ado, please welcome none other than CEO of Parle Ergo, Shona Chauhan. Shona, thank you so much for being on Your Force.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been such a pleasure. And this morning, as soon as I woke up, my first thought was Fruity because every time I think of your name,
I'm
I
so happy.
because genuinely my summer in India in my childhood was pretty much around Fruity, and I love mango and I love sweets. So it was just, and my mom used to hate it because she's like, this is not healthy. You drink, like healthy stuff. But yeah, but thank you so much for your time today, and it's an absolute honor to have you.
Thank you.
So Shona, let's start from the beginning, right? You have often described as a childhood being surrounded by visual music, more like rhythm of the bottle plants, the scent of mangoes, and maybe a lot of other things which a normal girl growing up would not even, get to witness. But when you were a young girl and watching your father, building this empire, um, did you also go into the family business and join him, or were you secretly flirting over becoming a dancer or a pilot or something completely different?
So, to be totally honest, I mean, I knew that I was going to join the family business. So, it was always there at the back of my mind.
Sure.
And I mean, it's a place where we grew up, at the factories, at
Yeah.
the Parle factory.
Yeah.
But I did experiment with a few things.
Really?
So, yeah, before I started,
Okay.
and I spoke to my parents about it, and I said that I would like to try something in Bollywood.
Did
Okay.
you?
Yes, it was, of course. So what I did was, I mean, I not in a big way, but
Sure.
I did a small, tiny, literal scene
No way, really?
in a Hindi movie.
Which one?
Uh, that's the thing. I never went back and saw because I was actually an extra. Yeah. I didn't even have a role. I was a
Fair,
beautician.
fair
Okay. But I was
enough.
still thrilled about it.
Of course.
So I did that. Then I was an anchor for a show.
Okay.
And that was a disaster because they told me not to come back. And that's when I decided, okay, I tried.
Yeah, it was
And
universe's calling to
yeah,
parlay.
and that was the end of the whole thing. I'd wake up on Sunday actually to go see myself, anchoring that show, but I was really bad. And that's when I realized that this is not my cup of tea.
No, fair enough. I think your cup of fruit tea was your colleague.
Yeah.
I've also tried a lot of stuff while I was growing up. I was into dancing and music and art and everything. But I slowly realized that I think very soon, you stay in your lane and do
Yeah.
what you're good at.
Yeah,
But
where you feel more confident, where you feel
yeah.
yourself.
Yes, yes. And if you
So
have to
again,
pretend and if you're uncomfortable, but the thing is that my mom always told me that you have to take part in every co-curricular activity in school. Like it doesn't matter if you come first or last, but you have to take part. And perhaps that's why I never had stage fear. I was not the best at acting and stuff, but I
yeah,
never had stage fear. So if you put me in front of 5,000 people, I would be able to hold myself. But I might not be the best person to deliver the lines and
yeah,
stuff. But
yeah,
but I think the stage fear is something I never had, and which is also a blessing because of all these small, tiny initiatives we took. And I think in your case too, right? I mean, the fear of failure doesn't bother you. You would still
yeah.
experiment.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
you know what? That just the stage fear part just reminded me. Like you did a lot of extracurriculum activities. Yeah, I participated in everything.
Yeah.
And I hit a lead role in a play. And then when I had to actually on the final day perform, I was so scared. Like I didn't even I wasn't even sure if I was delivering my lines properly. And when I had to sing, the worst part is I could hear the audience like softly
Giggling.
giggling. Yeah, like, oh my God.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So
I
that
can
was
imagine.
another disaster that I had. But yeah,
Yeah, I know
but
those
these are
memories.
all the good things, like these are the things that actually make you stronger as
Oh,
a person. And
100%.
I think that's what it did. I tried, I failed, right? But it didn't disturb me.
And it didn't make you averse of trying again something new, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't work. Okay, you try
Yeah.
something else. Yeah. And
Because
I think
anyways, I knew where I was going to go and
correct.
I knew what I had to do. But
Yes.
I needed to get these little fun things that I wanted to
Along the
do
way.
as a
Yeah,
young girl.
of
You're
course.
young at that time.
Of
You want to
course.
try different things. So I wanted to try that. I was always fascinated, like every young
Girl. Yeah.
child with
Yeah.
this movies and the camera. But then I said that. No, I don't think so. I'm not the right
No,
person.
fair
Yeah.
enough.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, but Shona, in 1999, when you actually joined, the
Yeah.
Indian FMCG landscape was very, very different, right? It was a very, sure it's still a male-dominated industry, but it must have been like even more alpha environment. So when you entered at 22 in a deeply traditional male-dominated manufacturing industry, uh, can you take us through those 100 days? How was the experience of, being in those in that particular setup where there are only men, no one looks like you, and also did you feel any invisible sort of boardroom or a factory floor uh, moment because of your age or gender?
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, but the different part here is I also came in as my father's
Daughter.
daughter. So I think that makes a little bit of a
Oh, yeah,
difference, I
sure.
feel. But if you would ask me in general, I didn't see it as a male dominated environment.
Okay.
And I didn't notice, I didn't feel, I wasn't made to feel, okay, she's so young, plus she's,
Girl. Yeah.
yeah, she's a girl.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very difficult to answer this question is because I
You never
I
felt
never
it.
sensed that.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I never sensed that at all. And being a family business, um, I also grew up at the office. Like
Hmm.
I took my first baby steps at the office,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm. So it was a
like
second home. So you
yeah,
didn't, yeah, sure. I know what you mean.
like my son also took his first steps at my office, you know.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
missed it, but my dad caught it. Yeah.
Fair enough. No,
Yeah.
I hear you. And I think sometimes we overthink that we are different compared to the crowd. But I think
Yeah.
usually people don't even, like you said, because you did not even feel any different. I mean, maybe no one treated you differently.
Yeah. So maybe it's just in the mind. And if
Fine.
it's something that you don't, you know, think about
Or
so
pay
much,
attention
you're
to.
not, yeah, you're not going to feel it.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah.
Well, Shona, something very, interesting that a global statistic shows that 70% of the family businesses fail in the second generations, and we have seen enough and more examples in front of our eyes. And literally 88% vanish in the third generation, right? So you and your sisters, Nadia and Alicia, you people are very rare, just 12% who haven't just survived, but you guys have thrived. So, what is the secret sauce if you can, share with us that, three of you as a team who work together, and what is the hardest part of working with sisters?
So I'm not sure if there's any secret sauce, and to be honest, it is very difficult sometimes
Yeah,
because it's you here you have your emotions also involved,
correct,
right?
correct.
It's
Yeah.
family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you also have to be able to ensure. Sometimes you think twice, am I going to hurt that person? Am I,
Mm-hmm.
or did I, like what you say, sometimes it does end up hurting the person. When you have differences, should you be arguing about it at work and then
Bring
is
it
it
at
going to be
home.
difficult when you go home? So the good thing is because my father is also very involved in the business with us, he's made it very clear that you three somehow, regardless of what differences you'll have, the mandate is you have to make it work.
Hmm.
Okay. And if we're going to run this business together and progress and grow and accelerate,
Mm-hmm.
having each other is the best thing
Yeah.
actually, and that's what you should think about in
Hmm.
those difficult times,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
because imagine if one person was just alone
Hmm.
handling so many different issues, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Look at the growth factor that you would have then,
Hmm.
rather than having three people together
Hmm.
working together. Look at the growth factor you would have with three people together. The
Yeah.
growth
Maybe
would
three
be far
times.
more. Yeah, you'd grow faster,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then there's also something which those people inside and out too, right? So their strengths and their weaknesses. So
Right.
perhaps you can double down on people's strength, right? If your strength
Right.
is X,
And you can even rely, like for example, you're stuck on something, you know, you're going to get an honest feedback about it,
correct? Yeah.
right? It's somebody you trust
Mm-hmm.
100%,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that
Absolutely.
also really helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So, yeah, so I mean, I think the best thing is to have the three of us working in disagreement, in agreement, but we have to try
make it
work.
work.
Yeah, yeah,
Like father, like daughters, right?
yeah,
So, Shona,
yeah.
you have reached, I mean, you've been featured in Forbes and you've been at the top of your game, but these achievements don't come very easily. So, I want to pick your brain that what is that unspoken truth about success you wish more women understood before they started? And also, is there any mental or strategic pivot that isn't talked about, but staying in this industry, you think that it is very essential to have?
I think you've got to be a strong person, and you've got to experience a lot in your life to be able to become that strong person,
Okay.
to be able to manage the kind of complexities that go into, let's say, heading an organization or working in an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have to be strong, mentally strong. And I think that's the foremost, most important thing. And you've got to be confident of yourself,
Yeah.
because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to bring you down. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a lot of should I not, will it work, won't it work? You're going to have a lot of doubts,
Correct.
right? So you've
Correct.
got to also be able to take that risk.
Hmm.
Now, how are you going to be able to take the risk? You take a risk if you feel confident of yourself, if you're
Correct.
strong enough and believe in yourself to take that risk. And of course, failure comes with it. I mean, failure comes with at home, it comes at work, but you've got
Everywhere.
to
Yeah.
try it, right? Because you don't
Correct.
want to then regret that you never tried it. I'd
Right.
rather try it, fail, and not regret that I never tried it. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Of
So,
course.
yeah, so I think,
Like any athlete, right? Like once lose a game, you don't stop playing. Basically,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
you work even harder to come and fight the next one even more. Yeah, I totally agree. But if someone
Yeah, so
is
that's
listening,
learning, and you're constantly learning. So you've got to
yes.
believe that, and you have to keep that going. You've got to believe that you're going to keep learning. You never know everything, and you
Mm-hmm,
learn
mm-hmm.
from experience. When you failed, or let's say you lost a game, you learned something as to you analyzed it, what went wrong,
Yeah,
what was
yeah,
right, how were my opponents. You studied,
correct, correct.
right?
And what
What
my
did they
weaknesses are,
do
what
that?
my,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's the same thing. It's really very simple actually,
yeah.
but it's a
And
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
true. And when you were saying this, I was just thinking because in my career, I've taken so many U-turns. Like I come from a business family. I did not join my dad's business because my mom very early on told me that I know both of you very well. You do whatever you got to do, but don't join him. And he's into chemicals. I was never interested. But I have taken so many U-turns moving from Ahmedabad to Bombay. That's again, no one does it. In Gujaratis, I mean, your objective in life is to look pretty, get married, have babies. I mean, I'm just, caricaturing it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
majority of the times, right? And then I didn't do any of that. And then I kept switching. And every time I thought I did something, it took me like three steps behind. But in the hindsight, when I see it, I mean, the graph is still up. At that time,
Yeah.
it just looked like this. So
Yeah.
no, I think I totally second that. Everyone should
And you're
try.
always going to have ups and downs. And I believe that I'd rather have ups and downs than just stagnate,
Hmm.
which means I'm going nowhere, right? The downs
Totally.
is going to make you learn,
Hmm.
and the ups is going to, uh, I mean, you enjoy your ups, right? You work so
Absolutely.
hard. So it's always going to be a graph that's going to go up, it's going to come down, it's going to go back up. So if you're down, then you've got to remember there has to be a point that you're going to go back up,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. I'm gonna
So,
remember this next time when I feel down. I'm gonna remember this time because it's very true. It's genuinely
yeah,
very true. But if
yeah.
someone, Shona, is listening today and who is actually interested in building a business from scratch, what are the three things you believe matter the most in early stages of the business? The things which people usually overlook, and they're just too focused on pricing or valuation or visibility.
So I think one of the most important things that we should always remember is that success is not going to come fast. And there's nothing called fast money. It's very short term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have seen that, and I think it's a common phrase that I believe a lot of people would also mention
Yeah.
that, but it's so true that
Yes.
you've got to be ready that when you start, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose
Mm.
money for 2 years, you're going to lose money for 3 years. But that doesn't, if you believe in the business, don't give up at that stage, because that's what happens. It's
Mm.
after those 3 4 years that you're going to end up starting to do a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
because you've got to stabilize the whole business, right?
Right. Right.
So the most important thing is, like, there's no short term success. Like, I mean, there's no short term making money.
Sure.
Uh, eh, Second thing is, you've got to learn your business inside out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to know how it gets done.
Hmm.
So when a lot of people use the word professionalism or
Hmm.
professional, it kind of sometimes also scares me, because to me it sounds like, okay, upar se I'm going to, look and manage, but you can't manage a business like that. You can only
Hmm.
manage a business that you understand,
Right.
you know, and then you can grow it. Like, the
Hmm.
first thing my father told me when I joined the business is, go to the plants and start understanding from the equipment level.
Hmm.
You know, like, for example, I went to a plant and I started understanding what are the utilities that we have, what is the capacities of those, let's say,
Hmm.
whether it be a boiler, a chiller,
Sure.
but a cooling tower. So I started from really basic as to how is fruity made.
Hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't just put there and said, okay, now manage.
Yeah.
You've got to know how it's done.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So, I don't know if you've seen this movie. I actually cannot. What's his name? It's there, but I can't remember it. But it's that F1 driver.
Yeah.
What was it? Who died in the crash?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah. I know
starts
who
with
you're talking about.
S, I think. Uh, but anyway, so he was a young boy. He was very passionate about driving. His father had a tire business, like he was a mechanic.
Okay.
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 And he became the fastest F1 driver. And the biggest asset that he had was that his father was a mechanic, because he could go in there and say, I know what's wrong with my car. So if you
Wow.
fix this,
Love
you
that.
know the car will go faster. So
Faster.
that's what I'm trying to say
No.
is that you have to learn and know the business,
Inside out.
so that, yeah, so that nobody can also then take you for a ride. All
Granted.
right.
Yeah.
And you understand what needs to be done.
Hmm.
So
And I think,
spending time on that is very important.
hmm. Yeah. And do you think that the knowing the competitors is important, or that's not really, because you
Yeah, of
never know
course.
today?
I mean, you have to know what's happening in the market
Sure.
space, right? You
Sure.
have to know what you're competing with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Shona, I want to understand that all the spreadsheets and data and the complex market forecasts we obviously go through, but many iconic leaders speak about intuition and, basically having this intelligence or knowing the pulse, right? So, can you take us through any specific moment where the data or the logical numbers told you no, but your gut actually told you to give it a shot? And how did you actually internally convince yourself and it ultimately, worked in your favor?
So there are a lot of projects that I worked on which where the data has showed no, but the
Okay.
concept was good.
Okay.
I felt also right about the concept.
Hmm.
So when that happens, if you believe in the idea, but the data says no, you've got to work on the data on how you can convert it to a positive number.
Hmm.
If you think of an idea and it's showing a negative at the bottom line, obviously you're not going to do it, right? You come
Hmm.
up with a product and
Hmm.
you've got a negative margin. Yeah, I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to, because the more you sell, the more you're going to end up losing.
Correct.
So then you got to end up focusing on how to make that negative margin into positive.
Okay.
And for that, I strongly believe that there are two important things, most two important things. One
Okay.
is to cut down on cost,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you've got to figure, you either get back to the table and renegotiate the rates, right,
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
you cut down on cost. And you
Mm-hmm.
cut down on costs at your plants also to bring down the manufacturing cost, and
Mm-hmm.
you improve your efficiency levels. With
Okay.
that, you're at a much better place than you were
Hmm.
to then go ahead with the whole concept.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And do you think that trying something entirely new which doesn't exist is riskier, or just, getting, if it has worked for someone or in some country, and then you bring that idea and copy paste at a cheaper rate is better, or both are okay?
Like,
Because I,
I
I
think,
genuinely think that being the first pioneer into any industry, I think that is more expensive, because I mean, you're convinced with the whole idea of the concept and the industry, or, that no one has it, but you are still making losses. But if someone else has done it, and if you get inspired in, say, different country, different geography, or even in this country, but does it even strike your, I mean, do you have any views on that?
I think as an organization, Parle Agro has always innovated their own drinks. Why?
Hmm.
That's also another reason as to why buy another brand when we can create our own.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that's another way of, and it's far more costlier to buy another brand than
Hmm.
creating your own. And so I'm you. I'm not sure how to answer this question, but I wouldn't look at copy pasting another brand and bringing it
Hmm.
here and making a new brand out of it. It just,
Interesting. Because
yeah.
while I was studying in business school, and majority of the times when we were looking at the data, the first mover, we say that we have the first mover advantage, but a lot of times actually the ideas come and fail, and a lot of times they actually are not able to make that kind of profits. And then ultimately the second player, has seen what did not work for that player, or whatever, and then they sort of come with more efficient cost and everything. So that was the
Yeah.
only reason I was asking. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But success is also, in the public eye, is so filtered, right? I mean, we are just talking about the money you're making or the glamour or the growth charts, but I want to talk about the unfiltered reality. And can you share, like, if there was one moment in your journey which at that time felt like a total disaster, but something nearly maybe broke you personally, professionally, but looking back, you're very grateful that that happened, and what was a learning out of it?
God, this is such a tough question because I actually don't have. I mean, there are so many moments when all of a sudden there are so many things attacking you at exactly the same
Time.
time, right? So, I mean, uh, but you know how to deal with it. You know how to deal with it patiently to be able to manage such a chaotic situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever had a moment where uh, it's completely shattered me.
Okay.
But, or there's never been a moment that's shattered me totally,
Mm-hmm.
right? but there have been so many things that have become a stumbling block
Mm-hmm.
to which has increased stress level. You're wondering what's happening, how you're going to get out of this situation. But if you were to look back, and I think one thing that I would say shattered me was when COVID happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So I feel that was the toughest time, uh, because it was such an uncertain time, right? And you had to adapt to so many things so quickly. You
Hmm.
had to react to things so quickly. Like we all went to a completely virtual world, right? And I think that's something that I don't like a virtual world. I love sitting around people. I love feeling the vibes of people while having discussions. You didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow because
Hmm.
the whole world closed down.
Yeah, it was at a standstill.
Yeah.
And
And
also, sorry, I'm cutting you, but continue.
no, no, you continue.
No, I was just thinking while you were saying this that, and you guys were still like literally working, making sure that, your products are, in the shops and
Still
then ultimately the
available.
consumer gets it. Because we
Yeah.
literally went virtual, we were working from home, we had nothing
Yeah.
to care about. So I was
Yeah.
just wondering that, I mean, it must have been, I can imagine how tough and stressful it must have been.
Yeah. So many plants. You have to get raw material. All your lines were down for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if there's anything that shattered me, it was that.
Okay. Okay.
Honestly speaking.
Oh my God. I
But
can't
yeah,
imagine.
that was a really scary thing. But then if you go back and you think about it, okay, what did you learn f from it? If ever
Mm.
that happens, you have to know how to restart again. It was like a whole you had to restart all over, right? When you had this long standstill, and then how do you work in an environment where you have to be sitting at home talking to people virtually and getting so much work done? I think
Yeah.
for a manufacturing industry is a lot
Tougher.
more difficult.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I can't even imagine right now. And we were still cribbing about a lot of other things, right? Come to think of it, like
Yeah,
from a manufacturer's point of view, it must have
yeah,
been like
yeah,
like unreal situation. And plus having your staff and ensuring that they are their well-beings and
yeah,
ensuring the raw
of course.
materials and the whole supply chain was impacted and
Yeah,
affected. So yeah, can totally imagine.
yeah.
But Chona, your family's journey from Navsari to building this empire, right? And it's a story which is so inspiring, but also it has a lot of pivots, like we've spoken about. You did not just create one product and never reinvented anything else. So in 2026, as we speak, when the brands are being disrupted every 6 months, we've just spoken about so many competitors and so many different ideas. How do you decide which parts of your legacy are sacred as an empire and which parts you would want to get rid of to keep the brand alive?
Uh, I didn't really understand the question.
So the
So,
question is, so basically, there are few things of Parley which you think that are your core strengths, but there
okay.
are in the reinvention, with the new products and with the new dynamics improving, what are the few things which are currently happening in the organization, or it's a part of your industry which you want to slowly and gradually get rid of to actually implement some new technology, ideas, could be anything.
So, one of the important parts about Pale Agro is it has a wonderful working culture
Okay.
because it sometimes I feel that we get paid to learn. Like you get a salary and you're constantly learning,
Hmm.
and you have the freedom to learn here.
Hmm.
And you have a freedom to also learn not only in your area,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or your field, but you get involved in so many other fields of the organization as well, because we all work very closely together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cultural part of the organization, which is
Amazing.
something I'm very proud
Proud of.
of,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In terms of brand, we've always constantly innovated the look and the feel of the brand and have been able to adapt to that to be able to sell and look young, always look young, right?
Okay.
So,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So, and we've always, like, for example, Fruity itself has gone through so many, not the product, but let's say the packaging, right?
Hmm.
You always have to keep upgrading yourself. So that's so that you don't reach that
Stagnant.
stagnation line.
Right. Right.
So then we came up with Appy Fizz, which was India's first sparkling fruit juice drink, which did exceptionally well here
Hmm.
in the Indian market. And we
Hmm.
also portrayed it as like a champagne drink in a champagne glass with the fizzing bubbles. So if you don't drink, like I don't drink, I'll
Hmm.
hold a champagne glass with Happy Fizz in it, and it
Oh,
look like
that.
champagne in there. Yeah,
Love
so
that. Yeah.
yeah. And now recently we've launched dairy. We've gotten into dairy in a
Yeah.
major way, and we have flavored milk with a brand
Okay.
name called Smooth.
Okay.
So that comes in packs, carton packs, and it comes in bottles as well.
Okay.
And it has a very attractive price point. So you've got
Hmm.
10, you've got 20. So, yeah.
No, I
So,
love that. But again, something very cheeky that when something
hmm.
is working, do you double down on that and make it even bigger? Because India is a huge market and you export into different countries. Or you all, actually not you, but the company also focus on coming up with new ideas and new products, or it's a combination of both?
No, I think when you start have a product that is doing well, you've got to focus on growing that. Okay,
Sure.
you've got 1 billion people in this country, and you've got to reach out to 1 billion people and make sure that your product is available
Hmm.
everywhere. We've been focused and have been focusing in the beverage sector,
Hmm.
right? We don't have another vertical. So we
Right.
do beverages with fruit juice, dairy, and we've got water.
Okay.
So that's been our main focus, and that's what we as an organization saying, okay, this is going to be our focus
Trend.
area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And build on that.
Build on that. Yeah. Rather
Yeah.
than reinventing the wheel
Yeah.
because you
Rather than
already have.
reinventing or getting into multiple other,
Yeah,
uh,
like crisps or biscuits
yeah,
and yeah, fair enough. Because I think you have that strategic advantage of knowing the pulse of the
yeah,
business. So
yeah.
no, fair enough. But Shonab, I want to know that when you go for these big meetings or boardroom, large meetings, or you're representing your company or country at a bigger stage, what is that one ritual you have, which is basically maybe a self-talk or something you do before you actually get on the big stage? And when the noise is constant, everyone's eyes are on you, but you spend those minutes before with you. And what's your ritual like?
I don't think I have a ritual.
No?
I actually don't have a ritual at all.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, whether it's going into a meeting or if I'm addressing an audience or any such thing, I actually ensure that what I'm wearing, I'm comfortable in.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
Okay. To
constantly
be really,
distracted.
oh yeah, like, yeah. So I also feel a lot more confident
Yeah,
when I'm
I agree.
talking. I want to be comfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm the kind of person who wants to be comfortable in the environment. So if it's like in a meeting room, first there'll be like not an icebreaker, but something to, just first just discuss on a more lighter issue to get everybody comfortable
Right,
before
right.
you get to the main topic. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And what's the one piece of advice you would give it to every woman who is listening today, who is dreaming of building an empire like yours?
I would say that unless you try it, you're never going to know. So we could wake up every morning thinking, I wish I could do this or I want to do this. And one could go through that for 365 days in a year sometimes. You're going to keep doing that for the rest of your life if you don't take that chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to create that chance for yourself because there's nobody else who's going to do that.
For you, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you and the family, support you, not support you, but if you believe in it, you've got to do it for yourself.
I
And if
agree.
it doesn't work, I also strongly believe that a lot of times people start pointing at each other as to pointing to the other person, like, why it didn't work? I failed because of this, and pointing at other people. But we've got to
Hmm.
look within ourselves and work out as to why it didn't work, what went wrong, and get back on our feet.
Hmm. I love that. So rather than playing the blame game or,
Yeah,
take the onus
yeah,
basically and identify what the problem area is and how can you fix it.
yeah,
Yes. And I totally agree. I heard one podcast, and this person was saying that, you have to be at multiple right places at multiple right times for one thing to work out. There's not just one right place at right time. You have
yeah,
to be at so many places for one thing to work out. And that's so
yeah.
true.
My father
Yeah.
always tells me that timing is very, very important also. If you don't do it at the right time, it's going to
Hmm.
be far more difficult to do it at another time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when
Yeah.
the time is right, you've got to just go out there and take that chance.
Jump with 2 feet. And what if it
Yeah.
doesn't work? I mean, it's okay. I mean, who cares, right? I mean, you
Right.
pick up something or learn something out of it and try again.
Yeah. Or try something new. That could also be another, but you don't stop.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask some rapid fire questions and whatever comes to your mind, just bring it up, just straightforward. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Uh, so it's two things. One is if someone turns around and tells you no or not possible, right? You've got to go back to that someone and ask the simple question, why? Why is it not possible?
Wow.
And if you don't do that, I believe that it will always be impossible. But if you do that, the chances of making something impossible possible, you would have lost out on.
Love
Then
that.
the second thing is, I believe in, or one should believe in building good relation with your business partners,
Okay.
because your business partners add a lot for the acceleration of the company or growth of the company. And
Hmm.
that also builds good partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
good collaboration, and trust between the two organizations.
Hmm. Hmm. No,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so when I say like business partners, it could be your suppliers, right? Without your suppliers, how are you going to
Build
feed the
it,
market?
scale.
How are you going to
Yeah,
build the market? So you've got
yeah.
to have that trust and you've
Yes.
got to have good partnership working together.
And no shortcuts. I mean, it's a long-term
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
always.
yeah.
Yes, true. If you could meet 16 years old Shona today, what would you tell her?
So, so when I was 16, I was at a boarding school,
Okay.
and all I could think of was when can I get more sleep? When can I get good food? And when can I get out of study hall and get out of studying? And 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 if you look back now, then even today, you're negotiating exactly the same thing, which is when can I get more sleep? What's my next meal?
Meal.
Or you're
Yes,
planning your meal,
sure.
right? And you're always in multiple meetings that are going on. So you're
True.
actually doing exactly the same thing today.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. But what would you tell her?
That this is a training. This is the training of what you're going to end up anyways doing when you're an adult.
It's just the version changes.
Yeah, yeah.
And which boarding school were you in?
I was in Kodaikanal International School.
Okay, okay. What's one self-care routine you genuinely swear by?
I sleep early.
Okay,
I say
that's
I
good.
sleep early. I think that's very
Okay,
important. I need my sleep. Yeah, and
okay.
even if I'm stressed out, I can sleep.
That's
And then I
amazing.
start
That's a
thinking
very good
again.
quality.
Yeah, and I wake up very early. I wake up
Okay.
around like 5:15,
Oh my
5:30,
God.
and then my brain starts again. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Cool. What is the one brand, not your own, that you wish you built?
That's something that I couldn't really think of. But I remember years back, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were just talking about, how busy we're at work, and we've got so many things that we have to plan at home also.
Hmm.
And wish I told her then I wish I could build a platform where we could do all our grocery shopping, you know?
No
Rather,
way. Did
yeah.
you?
Yeah. And I said, if we couldn't build that, then let me check if there was somebody who had one. And there was one website before
Really?
Big Basket and all the other e-commerce sites came up.
Okay.
There was one small regional player who started doing that, and I was so thankful and grateful that afterwards, after a short period of doing this, and I was feeling so much better. Okay, I can just order my, all the thing, groceries that I
Yeah.
need for the home. He shut down.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, he had logistics problems,
wow.
and he shut down. But I told him that's it's such a great concept, and I was thinking about why is nobody doing this when it's such a big, advantage.
Market.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And the
and
USP,
then
right?
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
all these other
And the
big
world
websites.
changed.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah,
world
right after that.
changed.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Which is your all-time favorite book which you would recommend everyone to read?
Actually, I don't read. Which I
No?
should, to be honest. I don't read as much.
Okay.
So I really couldn't think of one.
Okay. No
Yeah.
worries. Okay. And what is the biggest misconception about being a female CEO in a traditionally male-dominated, factory-driven manufacturing industry?
I think competence does not come with gender. Okay, I would leave it at that. I don't think it's gender based. I
Hmm.
think whether male or female, whether in a factory or in an office, I think it's up to how much or how competent you are, how pushy you are, how assertive you are, and how much you want to learn.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are the three qualities you believe are the cornerstone of shaping your journey, where you are today? What are the three qualities you think you have which has actually made you successful?
Um, I think I'm very pushy,
Hmm.
right? I won't settle for a no just like that.
Hmm.
Apart from asking why, I try and find other ways to be able to achieve or do what I want or get what I want.
Okay.
So I'm also very committed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm extremely committed. I'm disciplined,
Hmm.
right?
That's
So,
important.
yeah.
Yes.
And also, yeah, good integrity.
Hmm. That's
That's
the key.
extremely important.
Yes, yes. Warren
Yeah.
Buffett always say that, I would hire intelligent and smart person, but if that person doesn't have integrity, I think the
Yeah,
first two are
then,
useless.
yeah,
True.
yeah.
The most iconic marketing campaign of all time uh, in your industry or any industry.
So that was an easy one. So I would say fruity, right? Because if you remember the song, I love singing it.
Mango fruity,
Yeah, that's right.
fresh
Fresh
and
and
juicy.
juicy. Yeah, that's it. You think of
Totally.
mango fruity, fresh and juicy. You
100%.
think of fruity.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
When you think about Parle Argo decades from now, what do you want the legacy to be?
So, yeah, I would say an Indian company that turns innovation into culture
Hmm.
and products into emotions.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love that. Give me
So I'd,
goosebumps.
yeah.
Okay. What is that trait, or what are the traits you look for when you hire a candidate within your company or your team?
So one of the most important things for me is body language. I'm
Okay.
always observing. I'm
Okay.
observing the person's body language as to how positive it is, what is the vibes it's giving. Uh, I
What do you
also
mean? Can you expand on that? What do you mean by body language?
like how they're sitting, how they're conducting themselves, how distracted sometimes they are.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel that I can tell a lot from a positive body language when a person when I'm interviewing a person or
Okay.
when I'm hiring a person. I also look at as to how proactive they are. For me, being proactive
Hmm.
is far more important because if you are proactive, then you'll, when there are challenges or blockages, you'll still be more persistent to be able
Hmm.
to, solve. You just won't say, okay,
Let
let
it
it be.
go.
Yeah, it's not working, you know? So I think, and that's very hard to get sometimes.
Hmm.
A lot of times it is, okay, or I'll do it tomorrow. We're
Hmm.
an organization that believes there is no tomorrow. The moment is now.
Hmm.
And so that's also very important.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm able to judge a character when I'm interviewing a person. I
Is
don't know.
that your thing?
Yeah, I think that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm able
See
because
through very quickly.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't take me very long. I know if it's going to work or it's not going to work. Of course, there are going to be chances,
No, sure.
where the question mark is there,
Yeah.
but I can feel it.
Yeah. I also I've worked all my life in sales and doing all the money matters, fundraising, talking to people every single day. So I also can instantly see when people are being
Yeah.
fake. And I'm a marketing person's disaster. I never get carried away with any offers or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. I'm also like you. I see through very quickly, and
Yeah.
I believe a lot in vibrations as well. If I do not
Yeah.
feel good around you, no matter who you are, I mean, if you're gonna bring me down, my energy
Then,
is very, very expensive. I'm not gonna waste it on you.
yeah.
Yeah, true. If your life were a movie, you can't act in it, but what would the title be, and who would you want to be playing you?
So I can't really think of anyone who can play me.
Hmm.
Also, that's because my mom this evening also told me on the phone today that you're one of a kind, so I guess you're one of a kind, you know? So
So
she
that
tells
would be a
me that,
nice
and
name
yeah, yeah.
for a
Sure,
movie.
yeah. So she's always telling me, Shauna, you're really one of a kind. So I guess I think I'll just go with that one.
Okay, but I can see Alia Bhatt doing a good Shauna, to
Oh,
be honest. Yeah,
really?
yes, I think so. I think so. She can. Because she's also like very polite, humble, but also very strong as a personality. So, yes. And last but not least, what does force mean to you?
I think force means moving forward, right? So when you add force, you move forward. So it could mean acceleration, it could mean innovation, growth, progress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Anything. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. So, on that note, Shona, thank you so much for being on your course. Thank you for sharing your story. It's been so inspiring to hear you speak, with the true candor. And this has been the masterclass in not just building the dreams, but also an empire that you have shown us for 25 years, and you're still, disrupting the market with your hunger, like as if you're starting today. And to every woman who is listening, please remember this is not just a podcast, it's a global sisterhood, our official fresh and fruity date. And if the world says the market is full, the odds are too high, but listen to Shauna and don't just find your niche, just build your dream. Stop asking for permission and conquer it anyway. Because just like Shauna, you are also a force. So go for it, achieve those dreams, and disrupt the market. And stay fearless, stay brilliant, and until next time, stay powerful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to You Are a Force. Hit subscribe and join us next week for more powerful stories from women rewriting the rules. Until then, keep building, keep leading, and remember, you are a force.